It was a sunny Saturday morning when Victoria Langley, a widow millionaire known for her poise and generosity, returned home earlier than usual. The mansion was quiet, except for soft laughter drifting from the garden. Curious, she tiptoed toward the sound, and froze. There, in the rose-filled courtyard, was her gardener, Marcus, sitting on the grass surrounded by her two children, Lily and Max. They were giggling as he skillfully balanced them on his knees, making them squeal with delight. Victoria's first instinct was anger. How dare he let the children play like that without supervision? But as she watched, the scene softened her heart. She noticed the little handmade paper boats Marcus had crafted, floating in the garden pond, each carefully painted with vibrant colors. Lily held up a tiny boat, beaming, "Look, Ms. Victoria. Marcus made it for us." Her anger melted into curiosity. Marcus, a quiet man with calloused hands and a gentle smile, had always been respectful, even a bit reserved. But she realized something else: her children were genuinely happy, genuinely alive in a way she hadn't seen since her husband passed. Victoria stepped forward, clearing her throat. Marcus froze, worried he had overstepped. But before she could scold, Max ran to her, shouting, "Mom! Isn't he the best? He even told us stories about pirates." Victoria laughed, a genuine, heartfelt laugh she hadn't felt in months. In that moment, she realized Marcus wasn't just a gardener, he was giving her children something priceless: joy, attention, and a spark of wonder. And perhaps, she thought, there was more to this quiet man than she ever knew. The next day, Victoria couldn't stop thinking about what she had seen. Marcus had always been a dependable gardener, quiet and professional, never seeking attention. Yet here he was, making her children laugh in a way she hadn't witnessed in years. Her curiosity got the better of her. That afternoon, she decided to follow Marcus discreetly after he finished his work. She was shocked to see him walking through the nearby neighborhood, stopping at a small community center. Victoria peeked through the window and gasped. Marcus wasn't just a gardener, he was tutoring a group of children who couldn't afford lessons. He patiently helped them read, write, and even crafted small projects to make learning fun. Victoria's heart swelled. The man she had underestimated was dedicating his free time to helping others, showing kindness in ways money couldn't buy. The laughter she had witnessed in her garden wasn't just a random act, it was part of who he truly was. Later that evening, she invited Marcus for tea, under the guise of discussing the garden. Hesitant but respectful, he accepted. Over tea, she watched him interact with her children again, patiently answering their endless questions, listening to every word, and encouraging their creativity. Finally, Victoria asked gently, "Marcus, why do you do all this?" He paused, looking down at his hands, then met her gaze. "I know what it feels like to have little, and to feel overlooked. These kids, your children, they deserve happiness, even in small things. It makes me happy to give that to them." Victoria realized then that true wealth wasn't in money, it was in generosity, in giving time, attention, and love. And she knew, without a doubt, that Marcus had a heart far richer than most people she had ever met. A week later, Victoria returned home to another surprising scene. This time, it looked worse. Through the window, she saw Marcus sitting on the patio with Lily and Max, and they were crying, her children's faces streaked with tears. Her heart pounded. She stormed outside, ready to scold him, only to freeze mid-step. "What happened?" she demanded, panic rising in her voice. Marcus looked up, startled and guilty. "Ms. Victoria, it's not what it looks like." The truth spilled out in a jumble. Earlier that day, Lily had scraped her knee, and Marcus had tried to comfort her. Max had tripped while chasing their dog, and Marcus had held him while brushing off the dust. But both children, overwhelmed by pain and frustration, had started crying at the same time. Marcus had stayed with them, calming them down, singing silly songs, and even making up a little game to distract them. Victoria's anger began to ebb, replaced by shame. She realized she had jumped to conclusions, letting her assumptions cloud her judgment. Marcus had been nothing but patient and compassionate, acting with her children's best interest at heart. Lily, noticing Victoria's worried expression, tugged at her sleeve. "Mom. Marcus isn't scary. He's fun. He makes boo-boos go away." Victoria knelt, taking both children in her arms. She looked at Marcus, gratitude and admiration shining in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Marcus smiled softly, nodding. "It's okay, Ms. Victoria. I just care about your kids." At that moment, Victoria understood something profound. Kindness often comes quietly, without recognition. And sometimes, the greatest acts of love are the ones that go unnoticed, until someone finally sees them. Days passed, and Victoria found herself observing Marcus with a new perspective. She noticed the little things, how he always remembered Lily's favorite flowers, how he encouraged Max to try new games without fear, and how he quietly mended broken toys instead of replacing them. It was more than duty, it was love in action. One evening, Victoria invited Marcus to join her and the children for a small family dinner. Hesitant at first, he accepted, and for the first time, the atmosphere in the grand mansion felt warm and alive. Stories were shared, laughter echoed through the halls, and even Victoria felt lighter, as though a burden she hadn't realized she carried was slowly lifting. After dinner, she watched him help the children with a little art project. Lily looked up at Victoria and whispered, "Mom, Marcus makes everything fun. He doesn't even care about money." Victoria felt a lump in her throat. Marcus had come into their lives quietly, with no agenda, and yet he had given her children something priceless: joy, attention, and a safe space to be themselves. She realized that generosity wasn't measured by wealth, it was measured by time, care, and presence. That night, she sat alone on the veranda, reflecting on her own life. She had wealth, a vast estate, and comfort, but it was Marcus who reminded her of what truly mattered: human connection, kindness, and selfless love. Victoria made a decision. She would ensure Marcus was supported, appreciated, and never overlooked. Not because of obligation, but because she wanted her children to grow up understanding the power of compassion. And she realized something even deeper: sometimes, the people who enter our lives quietly can leave the most lasting impact. The following weekend, Victoria decided to surprise Marcus. She called him into the study under the pretense of discussing garden plans. When he arrived, she handed him an envelope. "What's this?" he asked cautiously. Victoria smiled warmly. "Open it." Inside was a letter and a check, not just a bonus, but enough to help Marcus start something he had always dreamed of: a small community center for underprivileged children. Marcus's eyes widened, disbelief and gratitude mingling. I can't accept this," he stammered. "You can," Victoria insisted, her voice gentle. "You've given so much to my children and to others without asking for anything. It's time someone gave back to you." Tears welled up in Marcus's eyes. He looked at Victoria and then at the children peeking from the doorway. I don't know what to say," he whispered. "You don't have to say anything," Victoria replied. "Just keep being the incredible person you are." That evening, as Marcus hugged Lily and Max, Victoria watched the pure joy on her children's faces. She realized that kindness has a ripple effect. What began as small, unnoticed acts had blossomed into something life-changing for everyone involved. In the months that followed, Marcus opened the community center, and Victoria remained a quiet supporter. Her children thrived, learning empathy, gratitude, and the importance of caring for others. And Victoria herself discovered a newfound happiness, a sense of purpose that no wealth could ever provide. Sometimes, she thought, life surprises you in the most unexpected ways. A simple act of kindness can transform hearts, bridge worlds, and leave a legacy far richer than money ever could. And in that quiet mansion, laughter once again filled the halls, this time, deeper, warmer, and truly unforgettable.